Hi, I'm Jim Eskin, founder of Eskin Fundraising Training. $1 million gifts are made every day in American philanthropy's vast $557 billion annual enterprise. Your nonprofit's management, board, staff, volunteers, friends, and especially beneficiaries deserve them and the opportunities they unlock. In that spirit, we couldn't be more excited to announce the release of our second book, How to Score Your First or Next $1 Million Gift, to empower professional and volunteer nonprofit leaders to elevate their organizations to the next level of visibility, prestige, and especially positive impact in fulfilling their noble missions that touch, improve, and save more lives, especially helping those who are struggling. As part of the rollout of our new how-to book, we are spotlighting in this video series the magical moments that nonprofits of all different sizes, missions, and parts of the country achieve their first $1 million gifts. Our special guest is Clara Potes-Fellow, former Interim Executive Director of the Cerritos College Foundation. Founded in 1955, Cerritos College is one of the top community colleges in Los Angeles County, offering comprehensive, high-quality, affordable education and career training. But, like many other community colleges across the country, it lacked private philanthropic support. Planned gifts can open doors to amounts several times larger than donors can provide from current wealth positions. This is how Cerritos College Foundation achieved its first $1 million plus gift. Clara is going to share the inspiring story of how John Smith, a Cerritos woodworking student, left the foundation as an estate plan, resulting in a $2.4 million gift realized in 2019. Clara, could you please describe the story of this historic planned gift and how it broke the $1 million barrier for Cerritos College Foundation?
Absolutely, I'm so glad to. This was the biggest gift that the institution had ever received at that time. And the donor was a gentleman called John B. Smith, who was living in Paso Robles, California.
And by the way, that's really his name. He's really John Smith, right?
Well, you are not the first one that asked me that question. People always tell me, so is there really a real John Smith that makes gifts of $2 million? Yes, there is. So he had been a woodworking student in Cerritos College sometime in the 90s. Before he moved into the Central Coast. But he didn't make the bequest until many, many years later. It was in 2013 when he announced to the college that he had made the bequest and sent a copy of the documents to the college. And he passed in 2015, 2 years after announcing the bequest to the college, at 71 years of age, and he was divorced and he had no children.
By the way, that's way too young. That's way too young to pass away.
Yeah, but that was like, almost 10 years ago. Now we're living much longer, and therefore you are absolutely right. It is very young. But look at this. He had made the stipulation that the money could not be distributed to any of his beneficiaries until his mother will be taken care of if he happened to survive her. And she did. She died 3 years after him, and she was 95 when she died. So I had seen these documents in the files of the foundation because I was handling a major gifts campaign. I had the plan to raise $12 million. And definitely I wanted...
Hey, by the way, Clara, was the gift unrestricted, or how was it designated?
It was, the only restriction was that it will be to benefit the woodworking manufacturing technologies department.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was kind of like looking at this file, and I didn't know at the time that he had passed. I just had the documents. And so I thought that maybe I should do some donor stewardship to Mr. Smith. And I Googled him to see if he was still around, and I found his obituary. Then I Googled the mother's name, Willetta Claire Smith, because I knew about that stipulation, and I couldn't find anything about her at all. So I left that at the time at that point. And then about 2 months later, I received the call from the bank indicating that they were making the distributions on the state because the mother had died. And there were several beneficiaries, but all of them have received given amounts, and Cerritos College was to receive the residual. The residual had grown tremendously between the time that he made the gift and after the gift matured. The banks have sold several of his properties with the exception of the house where the mother was living, and they invested in the stock market, and that money was growing at incredible proportions. So the gift was bigger than the donor may have thought possible, and actually helped a vocation and a practice that he enjoyed very much.
Okay, Clara. What do you think the lesson is here for professional and volunteer nonprofit leaders on the potential and the implementation of planned giving programs?
Well, the lesson for the profession is that planned gifts take longer to mature and usually are handled by successive gift officers over a period of many, many years. Look, this guy was a student during the 1990s. Then he announced that he had made the gift in 2013. That's almost probably 15 years later. And then yet he died 2 years later. And then yet I only knew about it in 2018. And then the gift actually was transferred to the college 1 year later in 2019. So it takes a long time, but usually are fantastic because this donor never had to write a check. This gift cost him absolutely nothing and actually provided an enormous amount of money to the college and to benefit students that are from low income and that he probably cared about, and to support a practice that probably will never receive a gift of that amount. So the lesson is that the right time to start a planned giving program or to solicit planned gifts to your donors is now.
I'd say the right time was yesterday, but you can't go to yesterday, so it is now. And really the lesson is you might have to wait, but the typical person can make a gift several times larger from their estate plan than their current wealth position.
Absolutely. And also, you cannot be greedy as a gift officer. Sometimes we think that we want to work on those gifts that we are going to be able to receive, that they mature and that we see the money coming to the institution. That is absolutely not the case, because when I was there, I did procure gifts of close to $1 million, but I know that these gifts probably will not be received in many, many years. There was a gift of close to $1 million that was provided by two ladies who had no connection to the college, but but were friends with some of the faculty, and they provided for the college in their state. Basically, they decided to give everything they had once they passed to the state, but that hasn't been realized. But I did provided stewardship. I visited them. I treated them at every occasion like the gift was already mature, because
and a really good best practice is to have a planned giving society.
Absolutely, yes. And we were creating one at the time. And but you have to be very proactive as a gift
Right.
officer. I remember very well one of my colleagues in one of the Cal State University campuses who had in the books a planned gift of $500,000, and it was not mature. It hadn't matured yet, and he tried to do some stewardship. And when he went to meet the donor and tried to have a conversation, he learned that the donor had changed his mind and had designated UCLA as the recipient. So probably someone before this gift officer wasn't really paying attention to all the planned gifts that were in the book.
Let's make that point. You gift officers pay a lot of attention to the friends who are in your planned giving society.
Absolutely,
It's going to
absolutely.
be worth every minute you invest and more some.
Yeah, when you get into a position where you are managing planned giving, you have to look at the files. I mean, there are files and files and files. You have to read each one of them and pay attention what's happening there, and try to make contact with people. Try to make them friends. Introduce yourself, because you just never know what's going to happen during the long time that it takes for a planned gift to mature. And
Clara, we're often surprised people of so-called modest means can leave multi-million-dollar gifts, and this happens all the time in their estates plan. There are the generation where they live below their means and they didn't spend much and they built up huge estates.
absolutely.
And so you can be really surprised. I mean, all the time we hear that someone who lived in very, very humble lifestyle gives a multi-million-dollar gift through their estate plan.
Isn't that true? Absolutely. We have heard that story so many times, like the postal worker, or the bus driver, or
Yes,
the person that cleans the classrooms in a college.
exactly.
You just find these stories constantly. And the truth is that in the United States, property values have increased enormously. And sometimes what people are able to do in their lifetime is to purchase a home. And by the time they pass, perhaps the home is mostly paid off. And then if that asset is going to your charity, it's going to be a very large amount of money, because there is no cheap property in California or in the United States.
Yeah, I don't envy you there.
Yeah. The other thing that we need to keep in mind is that we are in the best time in history for planned gifts, because at the present, baby boomers are passing their assets to the next generation. And this presents a great opportunity for philanthropy. We know that baby boomers did very well. And
I mean, I can't even keep up with the enormity of the estimates. It was at 1.70 trillion, and I've seen it increase to something like 90 trillion. And the point they're making, the first level, before it goes from baby boomers to millennials and Gen Z, it's probably going to go intergenerational. And they're projecting by 2030, for the first time in history, women are going to have more money than men, because there are going to be surviving spouses.
Yeah. So what gift officers should do is increase their solicitation of planned gifts, make donors aware of the benefits of creating estate plans that include charitable gifts. You need to be proactive pursuing these planned gifts. For example, feature information about planned giving in all locations of your website, in the newsletter, in brochures, and other promotional materials. When you have events, always mention planned giving from the stage, and have planned giving materials at the table where you are giving the literature about the organization.
And another thing we call low-hanging fruit is always ask your donors, have you included us in your estate plan? It's amazing how many donors have not informed the nonprofit.
Absolutely, yeah. And keep in mind that according to data, only 30% of Americans have an up-to-date estate plan. So it is very apropos to remind them about that, and even to provide information on how to create a trust or a will. You can provide that information on your website as well. Give all the different tips and provide information and connect people to attorneys if you feel like it. Just provide a list. We have lists of attorneys that people could consult. We were not recommending anyone in particular. We were just kind of providing a database of attorneys that were capable of doing this type of work.
Clara, thank you for taking us inside this historic $1 million plus gift. And also thank you for the leadership and service you provide the nonprofit profession.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And it's always lovely to see you in this type of events.
Okay. I hope to see you on the West Coast someday.
Thank you. Take care.
How to score your first or next $1 million gift. 104 easy-to-understand pages filled with strategies, best practices, and homework assignments is now available in both print and digital formats through Pathway, our book distributor, and Amazon. Quantity discounts are available to nonprofits who want to share books with teams of management, development staff, board, and volunteers. The book becomes available on November 12th, 2024. But for those who pre-order, we have a special offer. Just click on the URL link in the video description and reserve your copy. We'll send you a complimentary copy of our first book, 10 Simple Fundraising Lessons, a $16.95 value that provides a solid foundation to understand how to best apply the lessons highlighted in the new book. That's 2 for the price of 1. Thank you for watching.